All right, ready to dive into something a little different. We're cracking open the lyrics of this song, Sentimental Blues? Or, how do you say the Russian title again?
It's pretty much a straight translation.
Right, right. So, Sentimental Blues it is, but here's the twist. These lyrics bounce back and forth between Russian and English, almost like the songwriter couldn't decide.
Or maybe they did decide, and that's part of the magic.
It's raining cats and dogs.
Ooh, I like where you're going with that. Let's start with the overall vibe, though. We're dealing with a classic bluesy setup, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You can feel it from the first lines.
We're talking pouring rain, that kind of walking alone at night atmosphere, and the Russian they use, ookaloo, it just hits different, you know?
It's way more intense than our raining cats and dogs. It literally means raining like from a bucket.
Yeah, like someone dumped a whole downpour on these two people walking and talking. Which, by the way, is exactly what happens in the song.
And that's where the language play really starts to shine. They're talking about all this heavy stuff, what we love and what we don't, the crazy stuff we hate and we love. It's vulnerable.
Super vulnerable. And that's where the back and forth between Russian and English gets really interesting. It's like each language allows them to express a different side of themselves, a different shade of the blues.
Качал из облаков оттенки всех цветов.
Makes me think of how color is used in traditional Russian art, those bold, contrasting shades. The language switching here has that same kind of emotional intensity.
Wow, I never thought of it like that, but you're totally right. And then they kind of shift gears, talking about moving slow, keeping it low-key. They even say it's what they need to stay here complete.
There's a deep sense of longing in that line, but also a quiet strength. It's like finding wholeness in the midst of uncertainty. And that really resonates with the heart of the blues, doesn't it?
Totally. And speaking of hitting the feels, the chorus is where it's at. So simple, but it hits you right in the chest.
I love you for your kindness. You love me for my truth. We got a sense of blues.
I love you for your kindness. You love me for my truth. We got a sense of blues.
See, and I think that line, "We got a sense of blues," that's the anchor. It grounds the whole song, even with all the language shifts.
It's their shared language, even when they're speaking different ones. Then it switches back to Russian for a second. Love you for your tenderness.
Mm.
It's beautiful the way those two languages intertwine.
It really is. Okay, but hold up, because things get even more interesting. They start talking about downloading colors from the cloud to make the rainy day brighter. What's that about?
I think it's about finding hope.
We don't know what we want, but we know what we do.
Even in the midst of sadness. Remember those bold Russian colors we talked about? They're taking that imagery and using it to paint over the gray.
So it's not just about wallowing in the blues, it's about actively searching for beauty, even, or maybe especially when things are tough.
Exactly. And that ties into what I think is the most powerful part of the song. They admit that they don't necessarily know what they want, but they know how they feel. How does it feel, they ask. And the answer, it feels so good. Because at the end of the day, it's the feeling, that connection, that really matters.
Right, sometimes feeling deeply is enough. And this song, it's a perfect example of that.
So there you have it, Sentimental Blues. It's more than just a song. It's a conversation, a story told in two languages.
It's proof that music can transcend language barriers and cultural differences to create something truly special.
Absolutely. So next time you're listening to music, don't be afraid to explore something in a different language. You never know what emotional depths you might uncover.